Hey, what up, guys? Coming to you with another first quarter top 10. We're going to feature the 168-pound super middleweight division here. Let's talk about the outs that we have. So any guys that dropped out. We got 3 guys that dropped out from that were in the top 10 at the beginning of the year. Actually, coming into the year, I had a top 12 rolling on. I think I had like 13 guys tied for a top 12 pretty much. So the 3 guys that are out, we got first on the top of the list is former 2-time super middleweight champ James DeGale. He came into the year ranked number 3. He took on Chris Eubank Jr. in February, got his ass whipped in that fight, got dropped twice, lost a pretty clear one-sided decision, decided to retire after that, which I believe was the right call. So he's out of it. Also out of it is former world champion George Groves. He came into the year number 4. He was coming off the loss to Callum Smith last year in the World Boxing Super Series Finals. When he lost the title, he got knocked out. He decided to retire and hang him up too. He didn't lose. He just decided to retire, and didn't want to make another go of it. I respect his decision. I'm sad to see that because I really like Groves over the last 5-6 years. He's a very good, solid super middleweight. He was at the top of the division for a while there. For almost, a little over a year and a half, he was the number 1 fighter in the division at 168, and just a lot of respect for that guy. So he's bowing out. And then also dropping out is Andre Dirrell, former world title challenger, 2-time world title challenger, former interim champion. He came in tied for 11th. Just inactivity. It's been It's been over a year now since he fought. So I was dropping him out anyways, just because he lost his last fight last year. But I did hear talks that he wants to move up to 175 pounds light heavyweight before he retires. So, glad to hear he wants to do something. But we'll see. I haven't heard when exactly he's planning on returning. Okay, so now the top 10. We start with number 10, former champ Jose Ustadegi. He came into the year number 8. He came into the year as the IBF champ. He took on Caleb Plant on January 13th, and he got cleanly outboxed. He got dropped twice in that fight. He came on strong in the last 4 rounds, but he couldn't take it over, and he couldn't stop Plant. But it ended up being closer, because of those last 4 rounds, but he really got outboxed and outclassed the previous 8, and he lost a clean decision. Haven't heard about his return or what he's doing next. Next at number 9 is former world challenger Jesse Hart. Now, he stays number 9. He came into it number 9. Now, Jesse Hart, I heard there's rumored that he could be challenged, moving up to 175 in his next fight and taking on Eliter Alvarez, who's bouncing back off of the loss to Sergey Kovalev. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in that one. Next at number 8 is former WBC champion, undefeated David Benavidez. He moves up 2 spots from number 10. He returned to action after over a year off on the Spence Garcia undercard. He took on Jalen Love and destroyed Love in only 2 rounds. He's the mandatory to the WBC title, which is held by Anthony Dirrell now. I really think that fight's going to happen next. Probably won't see that fight happen until about August, at the earliest, July or August. So we'll keep you posted. But yeah, Benavidez started the year off really strong with a nice win. Next at number 7, holding on to his spot at number 7 is former champ Caleb Truax. Truax is set to go this weekend. Actually, April 13th, he's going to be taking on Peter Quillen in a title eliminator. This is big for Truax at his age. If he beats Quillen, he moves into a title shot, likely against Caleb Plant later this year, maybe next year. If he loses, he's probably done because he's an older fighter. So we'll see. It's a good fight. I really can't call it. I'm picking Truax. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Truax wins this fight, but I really think it's a toss 'em up, pick 'em fight right here. It's gonna be a good one. I do know that. I do believe this is gonna be a pretty good scrap right here. So check it out. Saturday, April 13th. That's gonna be on Fox Sports 1. Next at number 6 is WBC champ Anthony Dirrell. He keeps his spot at number 6. He came into it number 6. February 23rd, he challenged for the vacant WBC title against Turkish contender Avni Yildirim. It ended up being a very close fight. It got stopped in the 10th round due to cuts, and it went to a decision, and he won a 10-round technical decision to capture the vacant belt. He's now a 2-time world champ. Next up for him, the WBC decided that he's supposed to face David Benavidez next, and then Avni Yildirim is going to face the winner after that. So Dirrell has big opportunity here as he tries to close out his career. Can he compete against Benavidez? That fight, again, I think is probably going to happen earliest July, maybe August, September. I can't wait to see. It's going to be a good one. Darrell, if he were to beat Benavidez, would be big. So we'll see. Next at number 5, moving up 6 spots from being tied for 11th is undefeated and newly crowned IBF champion Caleb Plant. January 13th, he challenged Jose Ustadegui, got a very clean, hard-fought 12-round decision. He knocked Ustadegui down a couple times. He really dominated the first 7 or 8 rounds. Ustadegui came on strong late in the fight, the last 4 rounds, but Plant held his own, fought really well. Impressive, and he's got a great story behind him. So big-time win. Congrats to him. They're talking about him returning in July and taking on undefeated Mike Lee, who would be coming down from light heavyweight, and he's supposed to be doing it in his home state of Tennessee. But, haven't heard a concrete date on that, but that's the news on Plant right now. Next at number 4 is undefeated WBO champ Gilberto Ramirez. He moves up 1 spot from number 5. Now, Ramirez was supposed to challenge, he was supposed to be giving up this belt and moving up to light heavyweight. But I guess he got approval to move up to light heavyweight, test the waters there, and hold on to the belt for now in case things didn't go his way in his light heavyweight debut. Well, he's making his debut this Friday, April 12th on ESPN when he takes on former world title challenger Tommy Karpency. Personally, I think Ramirez is going to either stop Karpency in the middle to later rounds or get a clean decision, but he's holding on to the belt as an option to move back down to 168 if all doesn't go well. Personally, I think this is his last. He's not going to be WBO champ anymore after this. I think he's going to give up that belt. I think he should win impressively, and he's got so many good options that are top-ranked fighters. Light heavyweight is so strong with top rank right now. Most of the top guys are fight for top rank and on ESPN. So Ramirez just has such a big pool to choose from, and he's a big name, and there's a lot of big fights at 175. So personally, I think that's what's going to happen after he wins this fight. Friday, April 12th, ESPN. Next at number 3, moving up 8 spots from being tied for 11th is Chris Eubank Jr., former world title challenger. He got his career win when he took on James DeGale in February. He dominated the action, scored 2 knockdowns in that fight, one-sided unanimous decision. Now he's in line for whatever. I mean, he really can sit there and choose. I don't see a title shot next for him because a lot of the champions have their year sewn up. There's talks about a possible rematch with Billy Joe Saunders, who's likely going to be the next WBO champ as he's fighting for the vacant interim title. He could challenge Callum Smith, who's his stablemate also. I mean, not his stablemate, but he's his countryman for the WBA title, but they both fight for different networks. Chris Eubank's fighting for the PBC now, while Callum Smith fights for Matchroom and DAZN. So, we'll see. But Eubank has a bright future now that he scored this big, huge win over DeGale. Congrats to him. Still number 2 is the WBA regular champion, Canelo Alvarez. You already knew he stays number 2. He's moving back down to 160 officially in his next fight to unify titles against Danny Jacobs. That's May 4th in a huge main event on DAZN. As long as he's the WBA 168-pound champ, I'm probably going to rank him at 168 because he does have options here too, and I wouldn't be surprised if he moves back up, to 168 for September. But I don't think he's going to. I think Triple G is going to win in June. I think Canelo's going to, if he beats Danny Jacobs, which he's the favorite, but it's going to be a hard fight for him. If he beats him, I think the Triple G trilogy is taken on is happening in September. And I think he'll give up that 168-pound title then. But until that happens, he stays ranked in this division. And then finally, still number 1 is undefeated WBA super champion Callum Smith. He's still set to return sometime at the end of May, early June, but they haven't set down an opponent or a date. He's supposed to fight on Alexander Usyk undercard. Haven't heard about that. That's taking place May 25th now. A week later, Anthony Joshua returns. I really hope they get him on one of these cards. I want to see him fight, but, coming off that big win last September, he wants to roll into something else, but just can't find anything. So I'm hoping they decide on something soon. That way he keeps it rolling. I like Callum Smith, undefeated WBA super champion. And that's it, guys. I'll come back with another one. We'll keep them rolling over the next few days, and we'll knock out previews and, what's next and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, guys. True Boxing, been hit with the truth.